Hi, it's Karen, the Weekend Craftaholic. Thanks for joining me. Today I wanted to show you a flip kit that I'm using these hexagonal dies. Hope I've said that right. I was inspired by a YouTube video yesterday by Paige Evans. As you know, she makes the most adorable little flip albums, and it's something I've been doing more and more this year as well. I started by doing a flip kit from a kit that I got from the stamp spot, and from then on I've just been making them for my nieces and just as little gifts. So when I saw the video yesterday by Paige Evans, I really was inspired to give this a go. And I'd never thought of using my nested dies, so I've got these ones that I got from Kaisercraft, and you can see I'm just cutting out various shapes of these from a 6x6 paper pad. Now this is their Heritage collection. It is actually one that Paige Evans used herself, but I chose this one because this is the one that I've kind of got most of. I got it recently, not really done a lot with it apart from some memory decks cards and a couple of layouts, so I know I've got lots of stuff to play with this Maggie Holmes Heritage collection. So I started off by cutting out all of these shapes, and then as you can see here, I'm doing something similar that I did on my video last week, which was just hole punching out, but also using my We Are Memory Keepers punch reinforcer. So you can see it makes lots of little reinforced circles or O's, which you can then reinforce a hole that you've punched out yourself. And as I said last week when I did this, I love the effect it gives with a contrasting colour, as well as serving that purpose, because this is going to go onto a ring. It really does need that little bit of extra support as it's going to be used and flipped around. So I'm using some liquid adhesive here. Again, I like this because it gives me that wiggle room of getting it in just the right place. Unfortunately, my hole punch is slightly different size to the We Are Memory Keepers one. So as you can see here, there's a little bit of a gap. So I'm just going through. Now I have probably printed off way too many of these shapes that I'm never going to use them all. I did originally think about doing back to back to make them a little bit thicker as well, because this isn't double-sided paper, but I really didn't need that many. But that's fine, I can use them in another project at a later time. So I'm just zooming in for you now here as well, so you can see a little bit closer of what I'm doing. I'm starting off with the smallest die cut, and they're not going to be able to put much on these. I think they're just about 1 inch, I want to say, in size. But it'll just be a nice little start to the album, and as the shapes build up in size. Now I did decide as I was constructing it that I was going to put all the different sizes together and it'll add a bit of a mixed shape rather than just building it up as Paige Evans did. So I just wanted to add a little bit of variety of shape as well as size. And I'm just using some of the sticker pads here from the Heritage collection, just to use some of the words. I don't know if you can see it there, it is a little bit tiny. It just says a piece of our history. Now, as well as using my collection from Maggie Holmes, I have also got this little sequin mix. This was from the Stamp Spot. It is themed for the Heritage collection. As you can see, it matches perfectly. So I'm just going to use this as well throughout the album because I absolutely love sequins, and as you can see, this is a gorgeous mix. So I will put links below for any of the products that I've and craft tools that I've used today below, because this Heritage collection I think is perfect for memory keeping. Some of the sentiments in there and phrases and die cuts are just absolutely perfect. Now I did stick on the green sequin and then realised there wasn't really anything green in the collection that I could use on such a tiny hexagon shape here, as you can see, because it's only probably about 2 inches by 2 inches. So I decided to swap out that colour sequin, put a different one in its place, and you can see now just as they're going to build up themselves. Now the good thing about cutting out many of these shapes is that I wasn't sure the order they were going to be in, and I want to obviously make sure there's a contrast between each of these little sheets or shapes that I'm going to use in my flip kit. Now a lot of these stickers are kind of, I want to say, like an acetate or they're see-through. So you can see here that I've just actually added those to some white cardstock just to make it stand out a little bit more. Looking at it on camera now, it probably stands out too much. I probably should have used some of the other patterned paper in the kit, but that's fine. I'm happy the way it is. I love these alphas with the different shapes. Now you're probably wondering what fudge means. I'm just going to put a collection of photos in of our little dog whose name's Fudge, and this is just obviously something for me to keep. I'm not going to be giving it as a gift. It's just nice decoration for my craft room. And I do have a pegboard with some of the longer pegs, and that's where I keep all my little flip kits as well, because I just love having them around the place. So these are some more of these little acetate sheets. If I'm not sure I'm describing them the right way, but they are a little bit see-through when they go on. And I love the amount of black that's in here because, again, it adds a really good contrast when you're using pattern papers like this. Now, I'm not going to talk you through every little layout that I do on each of these because you can see for yourself what I'm doing. I do go back and forward quite a bit, comparing it with what's going to sit at the top, just to make sure what I'm showing as the size grows is still going to look good when the flip kit's comprised. And I just recorded this in real time as well. I have sped up the video ×2, otherwise it would be a very long video. But I have left some of the stuff in where I've changed my mind or made mistakes. I wanted you to see the full crafting process rather than just a perfect view, because I don't know if, like me, you watch lots of crafting videos and you probably look at creators and think how amazing they get things right first time. Well, trust me, that is not me. It is a lot of trial and error, particularly when I decide to stitch around an outline as I've done here. It's just remembering then to make sure I don't have anything too bulky that's going to get stuck under the needle, or even making sure that the needle isn't going to go over a critical part of an image or a die cut. So I'm just going to let the music play now, and I'll come back and talk to you later in the video. Now I just wanted to talk you through my process here, making a couple of shaker pockets. I love using this netting fabric. I've been using it for a while, but as it is coming up to Christmas, Spotlight's also got in stock some glittery fabric. So you can see there's this gold one, and I also did one in just a silver as well. So I'm just using those sequin mixes, and then I just stitch that on my machine. I love the netting because it kind of traps the sequins underneath so that it doesn't all get stuck to the bottom. And they're so simple and easy to use, especially as the fabric can be a little bit stretchy. You're able to pull it and make sure that it is really a nice flat layout as a shaker pocket. I've started to use some of my scrap paper here now. As you can see, this was just the leftovers from the die cuts and also cutting out the little holes, and never let any of this go to waste. Honestly, I always keep every little bit of this, and it's especially good for when you're layering up and backing a photograph like this as well. What I've also done for a lot of these is stitched around the outside of it, especially when I've got some of these embellishments hanging off the edge of the paper, and that just helps to keep it in place as well. Now, it's not often I use a distress tool. I've had one for a long time, as I'm sure many of you do. But this Heritage collection, again, really goes quite nicely with that distress look with those colours. So off camera, after the album's finished, I do actually distress all of the edges of these little shapes, the hexagons, and just to give it that nice kind of worn vintagey look. And that is my album all done. All that's left to do is to put it on this split keyring, and you can see here I'm just changing up the layout of this slightly. Sorry, this is slightly off camera to begin with, but you can see here this is one of the shaker pockets I created, and I'm just mingling them up a little. I did also make another one because I did have some sequins left off camera, just using some acetate as well, so it's a bit more see-through. And then I've used some of this ribbon as well, just to give it a little bit of texture and dimension as well, to add to the flip kit. And as I say, these are so easy to come together. I think it probably took me an hour and a half altogether on this. And I also added some yellow ribbon as well after I'd stopped recording this. But you can add whatever you like. That's the beauty of these flip kits. And you can see just how cute they are. So I hope I've also inspired you to give it a go and to have a little bit of a try making some kits out of different shapes. It sure is a lot of fun. Thank you for watching.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you've got any comments about this video, please leave them below. I'd love to see them. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. That way YouTube knows to recommend similar ones for you. And finally, if you'd like to see more from me, and I hope so, please subscribe by clicking the link below. I post new content every weekend.